Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of January 26th, 2014. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an important week we have here. Now, anytime there's a new moon, it does mark an important time. There is a new moon happening in the later part of the week in the sign of Aquarius, and I would have spoken about this in the January and February monthly horoscopes. However, there's a lot of other stuff happening right around the same time in the sky, all the celestial action really happening right around the same time of this new moon, which does suggest that this particular week and this particular time does represent a time of new beginnings and important changes, the type of which really stand out for all of us. Now, first, what we have is this new moon happening while at the same time the sun and new moon are speaking in harmony with Uranus. Now, this is the type of harmony that is very empowering. So there's some types of very harmonious conversations that give us a lot of faith and ask us to lay back a little bit, and that is called, for astrological students out there, that's called the trine. But this is a sextile configuration. And what this suggests is that we are given keys. We are empowered to take action, and through that action to develop our skills, to develop our understanding of ourselves and what we're capable of in at least one area of life. And to develop ourselves in a way that is new, that creates new definitions, a new understanding, but also really allows us to gain a sense of freedom from any limitations of the past that we knew before, but it requires action. That's the thing with the sextile, is this harmonious energy comes in, but at the same time, you have to take action. You take those keys, but you have to support it with action in order to make it count for anything. And this is where I think with the sextile in particular, I like to see this as an example where astrology really presents itself as a tool for self-empowerment. Because the sextile tells you to work, recognize the opportunity, but also back it up with action if you're going to maximize the potential there. And so that's a big theme happening with this new moon. And this becomes especially true with the importance of Uranus to this configuration. But what we also have happening towards the end of the week is Jupiter making its second of 3 oppositions to Pluto. So Pluto and Jupiter have been in this long-term conversation since the summer. They'll now reach their second moment of perfection while they stand across from each other in the sky, which does suggest some very potent and powerful changes. And really some of those changes being triggered by, or other people serving as the catalyst to, a deeper understanding that allows us to make some very profound and, in some cases, really all-encompassing changes to our lives. And then we have Mercury moving into the sign of Pisces, and really importantly, we have Venus standing still in the sky, preparing to go direct after weeks of being retrograde. Now, I've been talking about Venus retrograde a lot in the weekly horoscopes and the monthly horoscopes. This really marks an important turning point in the lessons that we've all been engaged in since late November, with Venus entering what's known as her shadow period. And now, having gone retrograde, she is standing still at the exact place she was when she started her shadow period. And so the themes that come up for you now are going to in some way be reminiscent of the things that were coming up for you in the later part of November, especially where it comes to love and money and issues of self-worth as well. All in all, a really important week, lots of understandings, but also lots of changes, and the types of changes that really empower us and help us to see differently, help us to see with eyes of faith. How all this speaks to you in your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. This week you can expect some events and sort of changes, some very fast changes to take place in the realm of friendships. And friendships do offer you some very important opportunities to go past any limits that you had believed were there before. I do really like that for you, you're thinking about your career, but also your thinking shifts and turns towards matters more personal and more spiritual at the same time. Just keep in mind that it really is a time of some very fast changes. So while a part of you may feel like, especially towards the end of the week, that you want to sort of rest and go into a deeper, more meditative state, you're going to have to find a way to take that meditative state and bring it to your daily awareness. Because really, when I look at the blessings that people have for you. And really, it's them just sort of pointing the way. It's subtle, and you're going to have to pay attention. But if you can do that, if you can actually pay attention, then you're going to find yourself on the road to some really remarkable changes, personally, professionally, in just about every area of your life. And especially, I find that if you pay attention, you're going to find that a friend is very subtly trying to provide you with a surprise. So be open to that, because I do think that while on one level there's a lot of reward, on another level there's just delight and fun to be had this week for you. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Taurus. There is an emphasis right now on career and career matters and where it is that you want to go. For those of you not so career-minded, it has more to do with goals. It has more to do with legacy and aspirations. And so this is an energy right now that is asking you to think about what you want to do next. Think about planting the seed to actually moving in a direction of your own choosing. And I do think that some of the most inspired goals for you now are going to come either in the realm of dreamscape while you are, having dreams. So make sure that you're documenting those dreams. But more importantly, what I do think for a lot of you out there, wherever it is that you sort of held yourself back from going big, from dreaming big, from actually taking effort in order to move yourself towards a bigger goal, I think now you're going to shed some light into what's going on there in order for you to release that, in order for you to be free of any limitations that you may have placed on yourself. What I also really like about this week for you is that there is this focus happening more and more on not only matters of self-worth, if you will, but how actually your friends can contribute to a greater sense of self-worth. And so do be open to that, because I do think your friendships are going to begin to just take off in their own direction and take off in a direction that is fun, but also in a direction that feels really spiritual, if you will, where you start to feel this deeper connection to the people around you, the people who maybe before were just people that you had friends with, people you were acquaintances with. You're now going to find those bonds deepening for you. And that in turn is going to help you to see your own worth a lot differently. And some of that might even lend itself to you thinking of new ways to bring greater prosperity into your life as well. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Gemini. This week, your ruling planet does change signs, moves into the sign of Pisces. And at the same time, you've got this very harmonious new moon taking place for you. And it does suggest, you put these all together, and it does suggest a time when, on the one hand, your vision is expanding, is opening up. You're starting to see new things for yourself, what it is you could do, where it is you could go, what it is that you could learn. And at the same time, you're thinking about practical ways to apply what it is that you are now learning. And so with this practicalness, what I mean by that is career. What I mean by that is achievement. With your ruling planet, Mercury moving into the part of the sky that has to do with achievement and career. I really like this energy for you, because it does suggest a sort of faith and spiritual touch that comes to an understanding that if you are going to fully step into yourself, fully be yourself, and fully express yourself, a part of that expression has to come through matters of career. Now, keep in mind, the lessons that start for you now are actually going to be with you all month and into the next. That's what happens when Mercury goes retrograde. And I spoke about this in the monthly horoscopes for February, so you may want to watch that as well to give yourself a more complete picture of the energies that kick into high gear for you starting right now. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Cancer. This week does mark an important shift in finances in terms of what it is that you're bringing in, if you like what it is that you're bringing in. But this is not just about your income, okay? What I'm seeing more than anything is that this becomes a lot more about what type of support you feel you have to really achieve a sense of abundance or to experience a sense of abundance. Now, for some of you, that support honestly is not going to be about other people. Some of you, that support is going to be a lot more personal. In fact, I'm seeing what is more about other people is the emotional stuff, which is often the case. And with Venus standing still in the sky now this week, it does look like a lot of the issues and lessons where it comes to love that started popping up for you in late November are now going to come up and present themselves in a whole new way, but in a way that makes the past a lot more clear. So this is an important week where it comes to love for all of us, an important week where it comes to love for you. However, putting matters of love aside, I do think that there's an element here, as I said, financial, that has to do with the support you're bringing in terms of your ability to attract prosperity. And so where that work is going to be energetic, I think that you will find the source of that. But more than that, what I'm seeing actually is just on a more practical level, a lot of Cancers out there might attract experiences whether it's an authority figure at work or an authority figure within the family, who actually is the facilitator of greater prosperity finding you and greater wealth finding you as well. And so do be open to that, sort of spread your wings, put the word out that you are open to the possibility of seeing more in yourself and knowing that you're capable of more and knowing that you can bring in more. And this is a time when visualization actually could help you tremendously. So be open to that process. Align yourself with an energy of love and prosperity. You'll find yourself creating a lot more of it. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Leo. This week, with a new moon happening in your opposite sign, Venus standing still in the sky, preparing to go direct all around. I mean, a lot of us are going through lessons in love, but for you, this becomes especially true. In fact, I do think an important new beginning happening in love. So for some of you, this is going to be meeting somebody new. Very strong possibility now and next week. And meeting this person quite by surprise and quite randomly, probably in your own neighborhood. Those of you who are attached, it looks like a new beginning with your spouse happens thanks to a conversation that happens, a surprise conversation that ends up bringing you a lot closer to that person. So other people are very much the focus for you now. But what's also really interesting about the energy that's taking place for you is that there is an element there where you're also looking at what are you doing every day to actually cultivate greater love in your life. And that's really where the magic is. That's really where the power is. It's one thing to connect to another person. It's another thing to integrate them into your life. And I do think that some of you out there are going to find yourself actually maybe quite by surprise meeting somebody who very much wants that, who wants to integrate themselves into your life. And you're going to have to decide how much of that you're actually comfortable with. But all in all, it looks like you're willing. It looks like you're open. It looks like you're ready to share. This week takes you just leaps ahead in sharing more of yourself than you did before, as a way of learning about yourself more deeply than you did before. There's a lot of love in the universe there for you. And I think this week will make that very clear. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Virgo. This week does present you the opportunity to feel better, just on a physical level. Now, for most Virgos out there, this is very important. For all of us, you could say it's very important, but I think Virgos have a very deep sense of what is happening within them in their body, and they know when something's working and when it isn't. And they're able to really, with some cases, some precision, really pinpoint what it is that they feel is going on and where within themselves, and what it is that they need to feel better. And what I am seeing is the possibility of some sort of very quick, possibly random moment that brings about an awareness of something that you could do to feel a whole lot better. And so there is a certain randomness to this. So I would invite you to just stay really open, especially when you are interacting with people within financial institutions and that very broad umbrella. So it is something ultimately that's going to be personal, but maybe when you're at the ATM, you see a flyer somewhere, and instead of actually being about the flyer, that triggers an understanding for you, which leads you to Google search, which leads you to find the answer you need. That kind of thing is what I'm seeing. Just this very synchronistic, very quick, very chance sort of opportunity that you have to learn something that you could do that feels really right, that ends up leading you to feel a lot better, a lot stronger, and a lot lighter as well. And what I mean by that is sort of spiritually lighter of any obstructions or any restrictions that might have been there to health. Alternatively, what also could happen is just the medical advice that you receive. You could receive some medical advice that's actually pretty cutting edge and sort of comes out of nowhere. Maybe you're thinking something more traditional and something sort of comes out of nowhere, and that could end up being the thing that has the right result. Ultimately, just trust your intuition to lead you to a greater sense of health and wellness. This is also a really great time to take on a new habit that allows you to feel all these good things, an increased sense of vitality, an increased sense of freedom, and an increased sense of well-being that you can strengthen now and actually integrate into your life so that you continue to experience benefits for a very long time to come. Well, thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week there is an element of fun and children and fulfillment. So those of you who have children as part of your life, whether as a parent or otherwise, this is a time when children can really introduce you to love. And so if you are with a partner, it could be your children that end up actually facilitating a deeper bond with your partner. For those of you who are not, spending time around children could actually end up being really lucky for you to meet someone who is a really good match, someone who seems to really intrigue you and really bring some fresh energy into your life. On the other hand, because there's also an element here of fun, it does look like even if children are not involved, if you are doing something where you are in some way being asked to trust your instinct, that is something that could actually end up making you very appealing in just about every area of life, but especially romantically as well. And so if you are out and about and you see somebody or you meet somebody and you are romantically inspired, take that chance. I think that the likelihood of it going well and the likelihood of you surprising yourself by your ability to make it go well will actually delight you to no end, will allow you to see yourself in a much more well-rounded and much more confident sense as well. All in all, though, this week, love is meant to be fun and kids are meant to be fun, and you acting like a big kid is also meant to be fun as well. And overall, a very joyous week to be had for you. But not only that, it is the joy that plants the seeds to some very important understandings into trusting yourself and trusting your instincts, because it is your instincts that could pay off big time for you now. Well, thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. This week there is a focus on matters of home. And so you have this new moon taking place in the part of the sky that has to do with home, that has to do with the past. And I would have spoken about this in the videos for January and February for the month ahead. Having said that, what is really interesting to me about what's taking place this week for you is the fact that there is this understanding that the past is up for renegotiation. And the past is something that you can understand in a light that actually empowers you, that helps you to see yourself with greater confidence. And I do think that a random conversation is likely to fuel a moment, and this random conversation is likely to take place in the sphere of the workplace. For some of you, it may take place in the sphere of a gym or other, like a health food store or some other environment that's there to support a greater sense of good habits and good health. But regardless of where this random conversation finds you, it is this that allows you to consider what has been differently. And that in turn actually ends up being really empowering for you to understand your direction forward and to understand the ground on which you stand. The most important thing I see is maybe there's an experience in the past where you felt that you didn't love yourself enough. I think you're going to start to see that actually you demonstrated great self-confidence and a great sense of self as well. And that allows you to really identify differently, to look at how you've behaved in the past, actually is part of you standing in your own truth and is part of you now moving forward with a greater sense of just what you are capable of. And I think you're going to find yourself surprised by understanding just how much you are capable of and how much more it is that you can do. Be open to any people who pop up, because the chance of people from the past popping up now and in the month to come is especially strong for you as well. And let those opportunities present themselves in order to really bring any resolution needed so that you can move forward lighter and more empowered than you have been before. Well, thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. This week presents the chance to have an interaction that really can change a lot for you. With this particular new moon taking place in the part of the sky that has to do with brilliance, that has to do with new ideas, but also has to do with randomness, with interactions you have with people who live in your neighborhood. What I find really interesting about this is it isn't just that you're having these interactions and you're having these new ideas, but there's a connection, almost immediate connection to how can this actually create greater prosperity for yourself? And you have that awareness, you have that connection. And so be open to that whole process, because I do think that you could hear of something that actually is very subtle on the surface, but really is a great tip, if you will, that could lead you to experience greater prosperity. Most importantly, though, what I like about this week is that the ideas that come in help you to understand what it is that you've been trying to articulate actually for a while now. And I don't see this like articulation sort of coming complete form. In fact, I do see you refining it. But if you are a writer of any kind, someone who needs to envision something, conceive of ideas, find ways to communicate them, especially communication is the key. I do think that that is going to be an area that is especially blessed for you, where you're able to just find a flow. For some of you out there, I will say that this whole process is going to be kicked off by a communication, whether it's an online email or a text message, as the case may be, or a phone call. It is this sort of randomness, I keep saying that, but it is the surprise element of you getting information that ends up making all the difference, that ends up spurring something in your mind, which in turn leads you to a greater sense of abundance in your own potential to love, but also more than that, in your own potential to think really big and therefore actualize some really big things in your life. Well, thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week presents the opportunity to start fresh where it comes to your finances. So you've got this new moon taking place in a part of the sky that has to do with finances. But what you've also got, which I've been talking about to you since late last year in the monthly horoscopes especially, but also in the weekly horoscopes, is Venus standing still in your sky, standing still in your sign, preparing to go direct. Now, this represents a huge change. This represents a major turning point for you. And it does represent a moment when issues that have been there, especially since late November, will come up again for your consideration. And any lessons that there have been in terms of self-worth, in terms of understanding what you deserve to receive, and in terms of understanding love, of course, as well, are really going to start to hit home now and in the days and weeks ahead. But this week is when the magic happens. But as I said, there's also a strong financial focus happening for you now. So do take that opportunity. New financial ideas and opportunities could present themselves to you, and they really hold the key to some very important and very lovely gains to be had now and again in the weeks to come. Well, thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. Well, this is a new moon happening in your sign, and I spoke about this at length in the monthly horoscopes for January and February as well. And so you do want to watch that. This has to represent a time that is a start of a new chapter. Really, you usually only get once a year, and it represents a time when you are starting fresh. You are coming to an understanding of what really matters to you in your own heart, what it is that deserves your love and your energy and your care, and committing to it by some small action and planting some seed that will reap fruit in the weeks and especially months ahead. In fact, the events that transpire now, especially what you do and what you put into place now and in the days and weeks ahead, actually will reap fruit 6 months from now. So make sure you put a big star in your calendar. I'll be here to talk about it. But really, it is that significant a time. And the things that you work on now have the potential to change your life dramatically in some cases, not only for this year, but for years to come. So take this time as important. Start the week off by being really honest with yourself and your own spirit, really, about what matters to you. What is it you're going to give energy to, and where it is you feel that you're ready to begin again. And you get that clarity, and then take one small action, no matter how small, no matter how symbolic, and you will find yourself really on the road to a brand new chapter of your life, a chapter that feels right, that feels empowering, and that blesses you with the freedom that your soul craves. Well, thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week with Mercury moving into your sign, and you've also got this new moon happening in the sign just before yours, which is considered sort of your house in the sky, if you will. There is this blending happening now, this merger happening between mind and spirit. A part of the sacred lesson for your sign has to do with understanding that you are connected to everyone and everything, and that all the world's inspiration and experiences are available to you. I'm reminded of this idea of how, because I've been learning a new language this past year, my aunt, she said to me, she's been a spiritual mentor to me, Shireen, and she said to me, don't think of it as learning a new language. Think of it as knowledge that you already have, but you are now bringing forward once again. And so I'm going to present that to you. There's a lot of knowledge inside. There's a lot of awareness inside. And it's about you bringing it forward once again from source, from energy, or wherever it is that you understand it to come from. What I am seeing this week is, as part of this process, your dreams are going to be really lit up. Now, take this time is really important, because the ideas you have now, the visions you have now, the dreams you have now are going to actually present you with a very practical plan. And that practical plan is one that you will implement a month from now once there's a new moon in your sign. So be open to this time, keep a dream journal, and treat your inspirations as serious messages to a more rewarding life, but also a life of greater prosperity as well. It's a special time, and your imagination is lit up. If you are a writer or artist of any kind, you should find an abundance of inspiration available to you, the kind that feels especially fulfilling. Well, thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. And thank you, everyone out there. It'll be a great week for us all. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great month. Be fabulous and enjoy.